So I feel like I can justifiably start reviewing Black Mirror episodes on this show simply because they are listed on Letterboxd, which means they are films, and they're really just individual self-contained films. I mean, some of them are film length. I mean, most of them are like around 40-minute mark, but some of them go up to the hour and 20-minute mark. So it's like I'm watching movies. They're individual movies, so I might as well review them on here, especially since how great they've been. I just watched Be Right Back, which, okay, definitely not my favorite Black Mirror episode so far by any stretch of the word, but this was probably the most creepy. It was very unsettling. The entire time, this weird lump in my chest, and it still hasn't gone away. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still reeling off of it, and you know the sign of a good piece of media when you're still reeling off of it. It's very weird. So essentially, if you don't know, each Black Mirror is essentially it's very similar to the Twilight Zone and it's sort of anthologized horror stories, but this is more of technology horror, if that makes sense. Like each episode it takes a technological, like future technology concept to its absolute creepiest, most fucked up extreme. And this one, essentially, the premise is that this great young couple finally, I guess they just got married and they're moving into a new house. And I guess he goes to return the rental car that they used to move, and he dies. The guy in the relationship, because I don't know the characters' names in each of these Black Mirror episodes, but it's what's the actor's name? God, who he plays Hux in Star Wars, and he plays Bill Weasley. Oh God, I'm blanking on his name. And the entire time I'm looking at the girl, I'm like, is this Peggy Carter from the MCU? Is it? I don't know. Sorry if I'm weird now. I took melatonin like a half an hour ago, so I'm on that point where it's like close to the point where I'm like gonna die. If that makes any sense. If you take melatonin, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it was. And so essentially, it just progresses. I'm not gonna spoil like what happens, but it just progresses creepier and creepier and creepier until you get to the point where it's like it's just this dread, because it's the contrast of this. I can't really get into it without spoiling it. I'm just going to say this is an episode you shouldn't pass, and Black Mirror is a show where you can recommend certain episodes, and you don't have to watch all of them. This is an episode you should not pass up on just because of the dread it just fills you with. It's very disturbing, and it's one of the most interesting ways I've seen something like a film or a piece of media handle the concept of death in quite a while, simply because of the extremes they take. This fucked up way of coping, I guess, so to say, that will never probably be real, but it's just that this idea that you could see this happening, you could see the psychological ramifications of this situation and how it could certainly mentally damage this woman. I mean, if you watch the last scene of the episode, it is so fucked up. So yeah, it's fucked up in a different way. It's fucked up in a very mellow way compared to a lot of other Black Mirror episodes. A lot of other Black Mirror episodes, it's high tension, high volume. Like, what was that episode? White Bear? Is that what it's called? Yeah, that's like very high tension, very tense, very high action level. This is a very mellow, not really any music, just kind of mellow, just light brightness, like bright color scheme, not dark. And it's just very it's very unsettling in that it is broad daylight, and that these characters, oh, it was good. It was good. Was it the best? No, by any means. But it was definitely worth watching, and I'm thinking it's weird because it's not an overtly horror episode of the show or film. It's not. It's just a psychological study, I guess, so to say, if that's the best way to describe it. And it is really disturbing. I'm gonna have trouble sleeping from it, despite it being just like not an actual horror thing. So yeah, so watch that episode. Be right back. It is it's something, man. It's something. I'd say it's definitely worth. And you know what? It's not a must see, but it doesn't get the must see level because in that middle tier, worth watching. So worth watching. Go watch it.